Come back by Sutherland, and no doubt that was the only way he could possibly win, because World of Sport and for ITV is Reg Guthridge.
Yes, hello there, and I was interested to hear what the big fellas thought, that it would be 10 rounds points for Marvis Frazier. That seems to be the following here of the heavy rollers, as they call them in the casinos at Atlantic City, the gamblers. They've made Frazier nearly 3-1 on favourite here. But when we're talking about Joe's weight, it does look to me as though he's taking the contours really of a channel swimmer, but he says that he's had 87 rounds of sparring, which is as much as he did for the championship fight with Muhammad Ali. And as I'm talking to you, there's a lot of shoving going on the door. We're almost on the stage of a showroom at one of the famous casinos here, with spotlights all round and famous faces and ex-world champions. And here's Joe Bugner. He's just managed to push his way through that door well in advance of Marvis Frazier. I was saying 87 rounds of sparring at Valley Gorge in New Jersey. And one of his sparring partners is Birmingham's Steve G, who lost an 8-round split decision on the bill here today against Mike Perkins of Philadelphia. Well, at 33, in many ways he still retains his looks. That's Tony Perez, well-known referee, done a lot of world championship fights. He did an Ali fight and sued Ali afterwards and won, because Ali accused him of certain words during the fight. So I think there'll be a bit of fidgeting going on in the corner there. There's air conditioning in the room. I must say I'm one of the victims. It gives me a gravelly voice, so I hope that Joe's been able to get plenty of fresh air before he got in the ring. Long time since I first saw him box as a professional, and before that as an amateur. 16 and a half years he's been around, and I must say he's been very cool. And there's Frank Warren, whom you've just seen, and that's Roy Gums just waving there, the British and Commonwealth middleweight champion, and Ernie Fossey from London. So he really does have the home crowd with him in the corner, and whether all this withholding of contracts and managers' commissions will upset him, well, we'll find out later. 67 fights, lost 9 and drawn 1, and I make that about 439 rounds, and I've probably seen 400 of them, and I'm still not suffering from the punch-drunk syndrome. Marvis Frazier, very attractive fighter, and will get tremendous support here. It's only really down the road from Philadelphia, where he comes from, and the crowd here are very pro-Frazier, because Joe is a very popular, is a real man's man. There he comes, the big fellow in the red. And lots of cheering going. It's a very exclusive audience, actually, about 800 people. Sold out some weeks ago. They call this the lungs of Philadelphia, Atlantic City. And I think they'll be exercising them well tonight, the fans of Marvis Frazier. And there he is at the back of the 3 in red. Hands on Dad's shoulders. All gloved up, so that won't take any time to get underway. 3 judges from Atlantic City. Well, not from Atlantic City, but from the state of New Jersey. Well, that was a confident wink indeed from Bugner. The referee there, Tony Perez, will not score. So the judges come up with a round-by-round scoring. And if there's any difference at the end, if it's level, whoever earned the best points in any of those rounds will then win it. And also, just in case of contingencies, they've got a knockdown timekeeper. So there's the master of ceremonies, a local model, Mike Puffer, who's quite a star when he performs, believe me. Rocky Graziano, the former middleweight champion, just along by us. There he is. And we've also got Joey Giardello, who boxed Terry Downs in London and lost. Rocky Graziano, in fact, was portrayed by Paul Newman in Newman's first film. So let's wonder now how the nerves are affecting these fellows. So one thing Bugner must have going for him, of course, he's done it so many times before, And, you know, when they make a hero of a fighter, as they have done with young Marvis, well, then they expect heroism from him.
Gentlemen, welcome to the main event from Atlantic City in the great state of New Jersey. In the red corner. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, he's got to start again, the master showman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main
television.
event from Atlantic City in the great state of New Jersey. In the red corner, with a record of 57 wins, 9 losses and 1 draw, with 38 knockouts, weighing in at 237 3/4 pounds, in the white trunks with blue trim, from Great Britain, Joe Bugner. And in the blue corner, with an undefeated record of 9 victories, 6 by knockout, weighing in at 201.5 pounds, in the red trunks with white trim, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Marvis, KO2 Frazier. And the referee is Tony Perez.
Well, I don't think this will be very long, this chat.
You got all your instructions in the dressing room. Is there any questions? Now,
I'm not sure really that we could call Bugner from Great Britain any longer. He's living in North California, born in Hungary, and he says he's going to spend a lot of time in Rome in the next year or two.
Shake hands. Good luck to both.
So there's the rundown then. But that'll only help them if they can fight at the opening round, scheduled for 10. Saying in the Bugner camp that Joe might come out and just throw a big right hand to see how he gets on with it. Certainly a great difference in weight and height, isn't there? Really noticeable there. 38.25 pounds difference. I bet Joe Frazier notices the difference in Bugner's condition and when he fought him at Earl's Court 10 years ago. Frazier noted, obviously, for his aggression, but he can box a bit. If Bugner may get off with that left hand, I would have thought that's his best chance. Keep the fellow at bay. Now young Frazier's no master of defence, and if Bugner could throw a right hand, he wouldn't have a lot of trouble catching him. Very square on. So midway then through the opening round. Bugner maybe not as mobile even in the first round as I have seen him. So if Bugner can keep Frazier out of the clinches where he does the best work with his inside punches, it's in his favour. And the noise is coming from Frazier. They, family tradition, they signal the punch with a bit of a noise. That's really not a bad first round for Bugner. I thought he might do a bit of holding early on. Try and use his weight, lean on this fellow, but he hasn't done so yet. So we've got a quick word from Henry between rounds.
Well, Reg, I think it was a pretty good opening round. That I think it's gone as much as we expected. I think Frazier has been doing most of the attacking, because I think in his way, I think he's got to make the big guy, and that's Bugner, move and make him move. And I think if it goes on like this for 4, 5, 6 rounds, I think we'll see Bugner perhaps puffing and panting a little bit, because I think perhaps Frazier, now he's warmed up, will put the pressure on a little bit and perhaps make him work a bit quicker than perhaps what Joe would like to at this stage of his career. So it's a pretty good round, I think, yeah.
Yes, that's it. And there's Joe saying to his son, this is it. A little bit of bruising, it looks, around Frazier's right eye. I suspect that came from a training injury. So round 2 then. I must say, when you've got a fighter with youth on his side, that's a decent ally in the fight business. So the longer it goes, one has to say, yes, suits Frazier. Notice Bugner there trying the right-hand uppercut as Frazier falls in. He's got to have some success with his experience. Oh, he really showed it then. He was not only telegraphed, he practically sent a letter with it. It's essential that Frazier now bores his way inside there and works on Bugner's body, and there's enough of it. Trying to steal a bit of time now, Bugner. Can only really work in spasms. There's a typical Joe Frazier move there. He nearly left the floor to throw that left hook, Marvis. They're not really having too much trouble trying to tie Frazier up, really. But still not very mobile. Well, that made Bugner move a bit lively. So the countdown coming for the second, and just to remind you, if you're not boxing followers, that if there's a knockdown at the end of the round, the referee would in fact continue counting, but not in the last round. She's getting the jab going a bit useful at times. So welcome back then for round 3. And Joe Frazier being a bit severe with words in the corner, as he said, I don't feel pity once they're in the ring. I've done my job of getting them in shape in the gymnasium, and it's up to them to go. And there's not many millionaires' sons who've got hunger in their belly like the Frazier family, the lightweight Hector and the heavyweight Marvis. Oh. Well, the Fraziers knew when they made this match that they were looking for experience for Marvis. And that despite the betting, it wouldn't be that easy. It really all depended on Joe Bugner's attitude. And that's where he's clever with the holding on stuff. But Perez will have to work hard to pull them off. He really is, at this point, nullifying a lot of Frazier's inside work. So there it is, a good example there. Looks as though Bugner fancies the fight a bit, doesn't it? He's not doing too badly with the left hand. It's just a question of whether the pace will get hotter for him. Although he's nearly 17 stone, just a few ounces inside Bugner, he weighed 15.11 when he fought Joe Frazier. Marvis fought a big fellow last time up, James Broad, that also went 10 rounds in Atlantic City. So he's used to fighting the big fellows and gradually pulling them down to size. Uses the ropes to just pinch a rest now and again, Bugner. See, there it is there. The moment he felt the ropes on his back, he was looking to grab the fellow in the arms. Well, that almost hit the lights. That was the one that got away. It wasn't a bad-looking punch. So welcome back, and Joe Frazier saying to Marvis, let's have some switcheroo, which in their gymnasium language means switch the punches from head to body or vice versa. And when you get in there, if he's there, then fire away. Well, what do you know about this? A little bit of boxing flash stuff coming out from Marvis Frazier, which will make it a little bit easier for Bugner to pick him off with the left hand. He's not using too much power with it, but it's point scoring. Oh, there's a touch of the old man's left hook coming in there. It doesn't hit as hard as Joe did, obviously, but he's not bad. Remember, it's only his 10th fight. Now Bugner's going to have trouble fighting this fellow off. He's pretty mobile, really, isn't he? He gets away. He's getting caught more frequently now in the fourth, Bugner. That's a sign that he could be slowing down now. He does tend to give the impression that he's gasping for air at times, Bugner, but he denies that when he's criticised for it. So it's just the way I breathe. It looks as though the Frazier machine now has started to go to work, doesn't it? Quite a few breaks in his career, remember. Pinched nerve on the neck. Got a very long scar on his neck, Frazier. He was out a while and he had hepatitis. Now there's an obvious one that Bugner's saying, OK, I've got to slow this down. And he really does look to me that he is puffing a bit. He's got a little mark around the right eye as well, Bugner. Doesn't look severe, and I'm sure that trainer Ernie Fossey, and they brought an American in as well, Aliano in the corner. to take care of those things. They've got the regulation coagulates to do it. So at the end of that round, I'd like to hear the impressions from Frank Bruno.
Hello, Reg. Hello?
What do you think so far, Frank?
I think that was Marvin Frazier's best round, Reg, you know. He looks like if it goes 2 more rounds, he might stop him. It looks like because Joe's getting very tired, but he's tying him up as well, Joe. You know, but I think his legs are going on him now, Reg, because it's a bit of a fast pace for Joe. You know, he's wearing him down all the time, coming forward, and Joe don't like that style. Someone flustering him all the time. It's an interesting fight, Reg.
Let's have a look at this replay then. You got to really throws himself at him there, Frazier, doesn't he? There punches around the body. That will slow him down, yeah.
Uppercuts, side punches, all over the place.
And while we were watching that, the face of Marlene Bugner, I must say, didn't look too happy. So into the 5th round then, and are we going to see a change of pattern? Because early on Bugner looked as though he was not totally in control by any means, but he was scoring a share of punches and looked like he fancied the night's work. Now he realises it is really the toughest game in the world, and certainly right now for him the loneliest spot. The only way he can really use his height and weight is to put some power in the punch. Remember that Bugner's only had 8 fights in the last 7 years, and the 4 comeback wins in England. First retired after he'd lost to Muhammad Ali in Kuala Lumpur in '75. Heard from the corner there, Eddie Fossey, Frank Warren, that it's only a small nick around Bugner's right eye. Doing a bit of grimacing, Bugner, but needs a bit more than that. You've got to throw punches to go with it. Still trying that uppercut occasionally as Frazier comes in. They're all hurtful punches, but they don't look that big anyway. And there it is again. He's teaching Frazier a lesson that he can't hang his head out a bit like a weather vane at times. He looks as though he's got blind contempt there, doesn't he, Frazier? And the old boxing axiom about work on the body and the head must fall. Round 6 then, welcome back. And that's surprised to see Bugner coming out for work early there. He really needs that stall as long as he can get it. And Joe Frazier kneeling in front of Marvis between rounds. Often Marvis refers to him as Sir. Very obedient family, very courteous, the Frazier boys outside the ring, but when they're in there, they get on with the business. Only Jersey Joe Walcott, who's the commissioner at New Jersey, the ex-heavyweight champion, has knocked out both father and son in the pro ring. working on the uppercut, taking chances with it, Bugner. The usual instructor's guide to the opponent who comes in square on. Remember, if you're scoring there, that the aggression counts so much with American judges. Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe old Joe heard me again. It's the first good spell that he's had. You always get the impression with Bugner that if he got mad a little, he could probably do something. But we've been saying that really for 16, 17 years. He's always been a bit of an unexploded bomb. I suppose by British scoring, we wouldn't think there was too much in this, but by American, because the other fellow's coming in. But I think Bugner's done a fair amount of scoring. And the crowd said yes, and so is Frazier, and quite rightly with that punch. It's really a good close-up example of the punishing inside work, the body work. So maybe those early round minor successes by Bugner now are not going to be much use to him if Frazier can keep this up. He's lost a little bit of mobility, Bugner. Just trying to stay on the ropes that much longer, reddened around the right cheek. He's only really taken counts in 5 fights, which is a good record, really, for Bugner. He stopped in his first one, which I remember very well, and he was stopped by Ernie Shavers a year ago. Well, that long walk back to the corner, Henry, how does that feel when you've been in a rough fight like that?
Well, it's, as I say, it's twice as long, Reg. Yeah, I think Marvin is... I've got Marvin Frazier slightly in front by, say, a couple of rounds. I think he's just, particularly in the last 2 rounds, has just been a lot too busy for Bugner, you know, and Bugner seems to be feeling the pinch a little bit. He's going back now and more and not throwing punches. I think he's fighting, what, a minute in every 3. So I think, in my mind, Frazier's in front because he's just that busier and he's landing good body punches. Perhaps not, you know, not so hard, the punches, but there, as you see in the replay there, he made Bugner miss, and I think at that age and at this stage of fight, if you're punching air, that's more tiring than if you're landing punches. Yeah.
That's about how the way I see it as well, Henry. Obviously, aggression will count.
Yeah.
And you don't often see Bugner being painted over the face like that as we come up for round 7. That's just a bit of adrenaline cream that they're allowed to use on the face. Remember, he survived 37 rounds with Ali in 2 fights without going down. But, of course, that was when... was in his prime, in his youth. Well, it's not too wise of Frazier to show contempt like this. An amazing family, they really are. They all spar with each other, and Dad gets in and does his bit with them. So if Mozart was knocking out minuets at the age of 5, you can bet the Fraziers were knocking somebody over at about 6. Unless Bugner really runs out of gas, it looks like the big fellow's predictions back home there that it could go 10 is on at the moment. And you wonder, of course, whether even young Frazier could tire a bit by his own exertions. Bugner's cornermen asking him, I should say, to move forward. It's always a bit easier said than done when this little steamroller keeps coming at you. Tried a left-hand uppercut there, and again Bugner. Don't be surprised if Frazier, in fact, doesn't step up a gear as he goes along. He did that when he fought the big fellow James Broad. Countdown for the 7th. They're really going for him in Bugner's corner there, Eddie Fossey in the blue strip, saying, come on, let's start walking forward, get some work going. And he was breathing very heavily just above our commentary position. It's understandable in any fight, but it seems to notice a bit more with Bugner. So in the 8th round then. So pattern resumed right away then by Frazier, going for the body. And whereas Bugner danced away a bit in the early rounds, as he's doing there, he stops very quickly now. That's a giveaway. This is where staying in condition and doing miles of road work and plenty of sparring really counts when the chips are down in a fight. Second's done a good job on that little bit of cut bruising around Bugner's eye. You really can't make direct comparisons with Marvis and Dad Joe. After all, it's only his 10th fight. He's stopped 6 of those 9 opponents. It's all tie-up stuff now, isn't it, from Bugner? Looking to steal as many rests as he can get. Bit of the old pro coming out in Bugner when he does that little dance to try and kid the young fellow that he's still full of running. He doesn't do too badly as Frazier falls in when he brings those punches up, Bugner. Not a lot of power in them. There wasn't a bad flurry either at the end of that round. He looks a bit tired, doesn't he, Marvis Frazier? And Dad gives him the final word. What happens when you get back to a corner, Frank Bruno? How much are you really listening to your manager and trainer?
Well, you're concentrating all the time, especially when a lot of money's involved and a lot of stakes involved. There's a lot of pride involved, like in this fight, Reg. You know, it seems pretty interesting. Marvin's still pushing it to Joe's tying him up, you know. It's still an interesting fight. It looks like he's going to go the distance now, you know. But Marvin's in front.
You overshot him. Quick overshot him.
Okay, well, there you can see good stuff there with the old world champ.
When you go here, I want your hair. Don't overshot him, be here. When you don't overshot him, be here. So you get the mother guts right hand. You can watch it. You got me? Don't overshot him.
So there you are, the mouthpiece. As it's called in America, goes back in. And there was concentration, as you say, on Marvis Frazier's face then for round 9. And they're really appealing in Bugner's corner for him to push Frazier back. He's had a bit of trouble fighting back on the back ledge. Now there's a case where Frazier's not chasing him, but he's having a rest too. It's the postman's knock punch coming in from Bugner there, the double jab with the left hand. Well, as you say, Frank Bruno, it's all about getting money in the bank at this stage, and Joe's getting something like £75,000, which is quite astronomical, really, at this stage of his career. And if he could have beaten Frazier, came to another little pot of gold somewhere. Well, just look at that, he can hardly get out of that corner. He threw a good little combination body punches, Bugner. But then sort of said, do you mind if I wait a second? There were merry pundits around America who thought that the sheer aggression and speed of young Frazier would make Bugner drop to his knees. But so far they've been wrong. His durability actually has always been one of his strong suits. One or two punches, just a little off target, but referee Tony Perez is not taking much notice. He's hardly had anything to say. So the last round then, and the words from Joe Frazier to Marvis was, come on, fire now, think of Jersey Joe Walcott, meaning box from side to side a bit more, laterally. And we'll see now if the old pro is going to have a go in the last. Well, 10 rounds is the longest that Joe Bugner has been for a long time. No, he's not looking for an exit in the ropes, I don't think. Showed up a few of young Frazier's limitations, as you would expect with only just a couple of handfuls of fights there. Still finds the strength to be able to shove Frazier off. Midway then through the last. As I said, the referee doesn't score. 3 New Jersey commission-appointed judges. Frazier doesn't care if he does drop his hands in the last. I think he feels now that Bugner couldn't nail him. But can he nail Bugner? I doubt that. The old boy's a bit too smart to be caught now. Good flurry really from Frazier. A lot of punches going around arms and shoulders, but nonetheless he's trying to pitch every punch he can, and it's too late for a knockout now because the bell in fact would intervene. It's Bugner who wanted to catch the eye right at the finish, and it's old pals all over again, and I'm wondering if Bugner's saying, yes, I fought your dad like that and gave him a good run. So they're still trying to find where the judges are now in this crowded ring to get this decision. Bugner looking quite happy with himself that he's gone 10 good rounds and not really marked. So we'll try and make our way up towards the ring as the verdict is about to be announced. Always pandemonium in a ring, there's no doubt about that. Joe, there's always a long wait, isn't there, at this stage of the game, waiting for a load of sweaty palms going on over here. What did you think before the announcement's just coming?
Well, like I said in the beginning, Reg, I think, you know, Marvis has a lot to learn, but he proved today that he can take a fairly good shot. And, you know, he came back, he didn't sort of run away from me. So I think he'll make it with a lot more experience, no question about it.
Are you concerned? There it is, Joe. I'll share the news with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official scoring of the judges. I shall give it in rounds. Charlie Spina scores it 6 rounds to 4. Harold Letterman scores it 8 rounds to 2. And Judge Richard F. Murray scores it 10 rounds to none for the winner. And still undefeated, Marvis KO to Frazier.
That scoring, don't agree with that. That scoring seemed a bit heavy, Joe, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I think the judges are absolutely, you know, blind, and they got the wrong fight.
Did you think you won it, Joe? That was the point.
Well, I think the fight was close, and I definitely won on cleaner punches. There's no question about it. I thought the fight was one-sided. He hit me a few in the body, but that's where, you know, he obviously liked the elbow punches, you know.
Okay, Joe, thanks. Tell me, are you going to carry on fighting after that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, just because in Long Beach, or whatever they call this place, they give a ridiculous verdict, doesn't mean I'm going to retire. No way.
Okay, be seeing you again. Good night, Joe.
Definitely, Reg. Good night to you as well. And you lot in England.
Well, there we are. You were both right with me, Henry Cooper and Frank Bruno. You said it would go the distance, and you said it would be a points victory for Marvis Frazier. Joe actually thought that he got close to victory. He was unhappy with the verdict as far as the scoring is concerned, but he really... Did he win any rounds there, do you think?
Well, I think the 10-0 was a bit harsh. I would perhaps give him 2 rounds, and perhaps he might have halved a couple, but no, I thought the other judges were a bit more realistic, to be honest. But it proves one thing, you know, boxing's a young man's game. See,
yes,
young
in fact,
guys,
which two would you say, Henry? Which two were
well, in the early rounds, in the early
No, but I mean,
rounds.
Yes, the first and the second and third rounds.
Something like that, yeah. You might say he shared or just slightly edged, but that's about all, yeah.
Would you disagree with the judge's verdict in scoring? I mean, he didn't seem to land hardly any punches at all. There were a few jabs in the area,
right, because he was working all the time, Marvin Frazier, top head and body, you know, so some of them were right, some of them were wrong, but he won. That's the main thing.
I mean, he started to tire him out from about the third and fourth onwards, wasn't he, really?
But
because he was just constantly going forward.
All the time, you know, Joe. His pride was keeping him on his feet.
Yeah. I must say, Marvis adopted the right tactics. As long as he was coming forward, of course, he had Joe in trouble.
Keep him busy, you know, he was bobbing and weaving, keeping a moving target, making Joe throw punches and miss punches. And at that stage of the game, and when you're 33, as I say, and you punch in air, that takes a lot more out of you than when the punches are landing. And that's what his idea was.
Would you suggest to Joe Bugner, if you were talking to him now, Frank, that he should retire?
He should retire, but, you know, the man's got so much talk that he could still make some money out of the game, you know. I would retire if I was his age, but still. Would
you retire before he had a chance to fight Frank Bruno?
Well, I'm not too sure. I just got to leave it up to the chief, that one. I'm not too sure. Maybe. Could be a good fight.
Would you agree that he should retire, Henry?
One who's drawn the crowds, every Hispanic...